she sang one of my favorite songs. 76 trombones led a big parade with 110 cornet right behind. There's more than 1,000 reeds. Do you know episode 3, Be Extra, a knitting podcast by Stephanus? Be extra. Show off, show out. Not show off to be arrogant, but be proud, be brave, knit whatever you want to knit, and love it. Today I will focus on Mosaic. So let's talk about Mosaic. But as I promised, I will start with some tips that I would like to share from my experience. This time I will still focus on left-handed knitting, and I will also add crocheting because I did get a question from the previous episode. So if you go to the previous episode, you will see or you will watch that I was covering about left-handed knitters. I was mentioning in regular knitting, as you can see here, the progressing hand or the hand that is making new stitches for regular knitters are your right hand. So this is my right hand. However, for left-handed knitters, we are using our left hand. So this is our left hand. So we're using our left hand as our progressing hand, the hand that is making new stitches. So if you see in the chart, we're actually going from left to right. Now, if somebody is a good student, that person might have taken that chart and wrote the pattern, a sentence of the chart, and take that sentence, bring that to someone who is actually left-handed, and ask that person to knit from the instruction, not from the chart. And if you do that for this exact pattern, you will actually get the same object, the same final product, had you knitted using your left hand as a progressing hand or your right hand as a progressing hand. Why? Because the example that I was using is symmetric. Now, what happened when the chart is lacking symmetry? For example, this chart. This is where there will be some differences in the final product if you knit it using your right hand as your progressing hand or you knit it with your left hand as your progressing hand. Okay, so as you can see here, if we just use the regular knitting chart style, this will be the chart for this motif. And if I take that chart and make a sentence for the instruction, this will be the sentence. Now, if I get rid of this chart and bring this sentence and give it to a left-handed knitter, this will be the product. What do you see here? As you can see, now we're seeing a difference between the left-handed product and the product that is knitted with the left hand as a progressing hand and a product that's knitted with the right hand as a progressing hand. So you can see here, when there is a lack of symmetry in the chart, if one is following the instruction, the final product is going to be a mirror image of the regular knitter product where they're knitted using their right hand as a progressing hand. So that is why there is you might want to check if you're looking at a pattern, a new pattern. Hopefully they have a chart to guide you to confirm, oh yes, that pattern was written from a person who is using their right hand as their progressing hand. If that pattern has both the chart and the instruction, and somebody wants to use the instruction, and that person is a left hand, and they don't switch that instruction or convert that instruction into a left-handed instruction, what you will have is a mirror image of the final product had that pattern been knitted using the regular style or right-handed progressing hand. Hopefully that makes sense. If you can accept that as a fact, your final product is going to be the mirror image of, what that pattern is written for, then go for it. There is nothing wrong with that. It's just something that you accept in the beginning. And I have done many a project where I just follow the instruction, and at the end I get a mirror image of the product. So that's for the tips for this episode. I really appreciate questions that are coming from whoever is watching, from the audience. So there was one question. The question was, what about crocheter? So the answer is yes. It also applies for left-handed crocheter. It's significant for crochet because in crochet, you only use one hand. So you crochet either with your right hand or your left hand. So also in the pattern, for crochet pattern, if there is a chart, you will also see the same thing for, right-handed crocheter. The motif is going to be, the chart is going to be increasing from right to left, just like in knitting. And I can also give an example. One time I volunteered for a senior center in Union, New Jersey, where we are teaching people how to knit, how to crochet. And I remember when I first arrived in the building, our group right away asked me, "Hey, do you crochet?" I said, "Yes." "Do you also crochet left-handed?" "Yes." Well, there are people who are left-handed crocheters who are asking for left-handed instructor. So I remember I actually started volunteering or started working as soon as I get there, because there were already people who are waiting for left-handed instructor. So, it's actually, if you have experienced in left-handed knitting or crochet, there are people who would appreciate the knowledge from you. All right. So that's all I have for the tips section for this episode. Hopefully it's useful, and I appreciate any more questions. If there are more questions about left-handed versus right-handed in knitting and even crocheting, let me know. Leave a comment. Challenge me. Keep challenging me, because I think you want to continue expanding yourself, leveling up. I like that word, leveling up. Anyway, I haven't done that movement this episode. Okay, next, I will continue this episode with focusing on mosaic. Okay, mosaic knitting. This is a type of color work knitting where you actually just carry one color or one yarn at all time. But you might use multiple colors, and when you carry a single color, you either knit the next stitch or slip the next stitch. By knitting or slipping the next stitch, depending on their colors, you can make motifs, or you can make color work motifs. Okay, so my knit group, we used to have a Zoom meeting every night during pandemic when you cannot go anywhere. And one time we decided to do a knit along, and we decided to use Cheryl Faust pattern. And this is Cheryl Faust, and this is mosaic. So everyone, we decided in one exact pattern. I will put the pattern that we chose, And then we just knit and we just share our experience during the knitting. And I really loved it. And after I finished that pattern for the knit along, I decided to make another one, and that's this guy right here. And I will put the name of this knitting. I mean that this pattern. So I really love this. I'll bring it a little bit closer. So a couple of things I want to talk about. The This is very grand. It is really wide, and I knit extra repeat in the motif because I mean my body is a bit larger than average body, so I just want to make sure I, with the famous word of Eureka, the queen, proportionize. So I proportionize this by adding more repeats in the last motif. So you start from here, from the top, with this motif, and then you continue with the second motif. And this is where I repeat, I think one full repeat to get, yeah, I think it's one full repeat so that to get it even wider. And I think this is a really genius design. Why? Because it is using a really quiet design to make a final loud impact. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's focus on this section. So this section is a really simple, repetitive, not simple, but repetitive, really quiet, and it's just like a leather. So for a while, you just keep you making that motif, and after a couple of rows, you kind of have it in your mind, and it's just like dancing. Does anyone do that when they follow pattern? Let's say this is an 8 row repeat. You memorize each row like a dance move, like 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5, and then row 2 1 2 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, and then row 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1. I don't know. In my mind, I guess I love dancing. A whole other story. Not gonna discuss that right now, but yas, dancing, yas. So that's what I love about this quiet design with a loud impact at the end. And then when we get here, now it's a little bit more complicated. And this is one of those because this part there's a lack of symmetry at the final product. So I accept this to be a mirror image of the intended final product from the pattern. I don't have problem with that. But anyway, I keep expanding my skill in understanding about this type of knitting. So what I decided to do is to try to design my own pattern. At that time, I went to Lisbon, Portugal. And I'm from Indonesia, and Indonesia is an archipelago, and in the archipelago of Indonesia, there is Timor Leste, which is next to Bali, and Timor is one of the 7 countries. Timor Leste is one of the 7 countries that speak the language Portuguese. So I should know how to speak Portuguese. And we have a lot of loan words, Portuguese loan words. For example, bandera for bandera, for or flag, and Sapatu for sapato, and then keju, queijo, like pão de queijo. What else? And even there is like the type of music from Portugal, tangidor, and there is a type of like a traditional music in Indonesia call it tangidor, with all this brass music, and it actually is influenced by the Portuguese people. Where am I? Oh, yeah. So when I went there, I was so mesmerized by this Portuguese tiles, or called azulejos. So I will put a picture here. So beautiful azulejos, and I keep thinking about those ceramic tiles, and I was like, okay, I want to make something with the feel of that azulejos, where it's all blue, color. I wanted to make a motif with equal sign on it and call it equality something. Cowl is an easy object to design, but it's enough surface area to put your motif and see if your motif will work. So that's what I did. I start using Excel. So if you go back to episode one, that's how I design all my motifs, or color work motifs. And I came up with this object right here. And also I was showing this earlier. In the previous episode. So if you can see, this equal sign right here is the equal sign right there is like the base of this motif. And then I just added more structure or motif around the equal sign, and just do that all around. So I call this my equality cowl. And another thing is, this is linen, so I can put it on, and yeah. So that's the first what do you call the mosaic design. And yeah, let me see how I look. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't really wear cowl though. I like them. I like when it's not too cold. I do like them. Like right now, so I can, be outside with this. Just, hey, this is Saturday. Oh, oh. I forget to say what day it is. This is Saturday, October 6th. Sorry, Saturday, October 7, 2023 AD. Anyway, I'll get it right one episode. But it's okay, right? People can make mistakes. Where am I? Yes, that's where I start. I like it. Okay, I think this motif works. It has structure. I've been wearing it. It doesn't deform as I wear it. So I found that in mosaic design, if you have a part that is dense, meaning a part that has a lot of the slipping of the stitches, and then if you have a part where there's a lot of the knitting stitches, when you go between the area or the surface area that has a lot of the slip stitch and the area that has a lot more of the knit stitch, you can have the different parts to deform a little bit, just because one of the stitches, meaning the slip or the actual knit, is having a stronger structure, final structure, than the other. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, this one, I really don't see any deformation after wearing them a lot. So I guess, okay, it works. Oh, I do look okay. Next, decided to use this pattern to make a cardigan. So the cardigan that I decided to do is a also using linen. So I decided to make this for my, swimsuit cover. So cardigan with this motif, and I decided also to put the rainbow colors. And also I incorporated bear pride colors, so all kind of gray color and some brown and black. And so the top part is the gray, the bear pride, and the bottom part is the rainbow color. So anyway, so this, oh, another thing, I will reveal the cardigan because it is underneath this one. So I'll bring it a little bit to the back and into the screenshot. So this part is okay. There's a purple one here, but as you can see, I start with the pride, the bear pride color, and the bear pride color I did not add the motif, but you can see here if I bring it back when I get to the rainbow color, I started that motif. As you can see here, this is the equal sign. I mean, they are buried around the other motif structure, but I like it. No, I'll put some picture of me wearing it. Actually, I wore this to the very first, what do you call, Rhinebeck I've ever attended. So I remember that Rhinebeck was pretty warm, or so this was perfect because this is cardigan, so I was just wearing like this white cotton shirt underneath a short sleeve, and then just put this on top because I also made this short sleeve. So yeah, it's perfect for end of summer again, or cover up after you're done, spending your day on the beach, and if you want to walk around. So that's what. Oh my god, this thing is so extra. You know, every time. Okay, I did not plan this. I wear this. You see how big this thing is, and it keeps going. Every time I wear this, I always feel so grand. Like, I don't know. Does anyone remember Will and Grace and Grace's mom, Bobby Adler? Bobby Adler always have this. She always entered with three things. She entered with Broadway music, one. Second, judgment, because she always judges Grace's hair, shoes, everything. And third, she always have big, shoulder shawl, or I don't know what do you call that. So there's one scene where she entered, and then she sang one of my favorite songs. 76 trombones led a big parade with 110 cornet right behind. There's more than 1,000 reeds. Do you know? I was in a marching band. I do play trombones. But however, anyway, I was in a marching band when I was in Indonesia, all the way from junior high to senior high. Yes, I am that kid. Oh, look at that. Hello. And, in marching band, first of all, the order is always trumpet, cornet, flugel, mellophone, trombone, tenor, and contrabass. Contrabass. So In that song, it says 76 trombones led the big parade. Yes, yes. Give the trombone players, you know, their time and space. 76 trombones. So every time I wear this, I'm like 76 trombones led the big parade with 110 cornet left behind. Yeah, be extra. Why just knitting? Sing a Broadway song. Do you find that anyway, I'll stop. I'll stop. Where am I? I gotta, you know, the pride color, have the bear pride, but I haven't put any motif in the bear pride. Should I also put a mosaic knitting in the bear? Yes, yes. Be extra. So extra I was, and extra I be. Okay. So another one that I made is I use the same principle, which is mosaic knitting, and then put it into this another cowl where I put a paw, like a bear paw. Rawr, rawr. Oh, yes. Special attention for this yarn. This yarn is a Bear Pride mini color. Is it mini? Yes. A mini Bear Pride color from Always Be Kind Yarn. Laura, the owner of Always Be Kind Yarn, she makes beautiful, beautiful self-striping yarn. I don't have it right now, but I will put some pictures here. And then she supports the LGBTQ community, and also she really support suicide prevention group. Please connect with Laura if you ever are looking for self-striping yarn, and in many LGBT or queer flag color themes. So Laura has a lot of the queer pride color themes in her website. So yeah, so I think that's it. Mosaic. But if you ever want any of these, for example, let's say you're going to P-Town next summer, or if you're going to the Halloween party, the last P-Town weekend of the year, October, and if you want, something to keep your neck warm while being a bear, let me know. I'll share this with you. It's not that difficult. I'll share how to, how to create that bear paw. So yeah, I think that's all that I have to share. I'm still working on the lace wrap, and I am 65% done now. And I'm still in the chandelier motif. So what you're seeing here is the chandelier motif. And then after the chandelier, I will go back to the leaf motifs. And then after that, I will go back to the diamond motifs. Sorry, this is all folded because I brought this to my Italian class earlier today. I'll show this whenever I finish it because I am sort of a monogamous knitter, so I don't have any other whip. So yeah, so that's what I have to show. Next time, I decided to talk about batik. Batik? What is batik? So batik is actually it's an Indonesian word. means the batik garment or fabric that we have in Java Island, or originated from Java Island. So I will go over batik, or we call it batik, but I'm sure you have heard it batik here in the United States. And as a teaser, I will talk about this motif. So this motif is coming from the Solo region of Java, and this batik is called batik parang. I want to highlight one of my failures. So I want to highlight one of my failures in knitting, or in designing rather, when I try to convert this into a knitting chart and knit the whole thing, and you'll see this in the next episode. So hopefully you'll come back. Next episode, I will release it also next week. So I still am going to do this weekly for this early stage, just to figure out everything, the settings, the lighting, the sound, everything, the flow. I mean, I still don't get the date correctly today. Sorry. Anyway, next week, batik. So that's all. Be extra. Show off. Show out. Not show off to be arrogant, but be proud. Be brave. Love what you knit. Knit what you really want to knit. And enjoy it. Are y'all?